Hello, hello, hello from wherever you're sitting. I'm super excited to be able to join my friends with Poets and Quants to highlight for the online MBA event one very special school. Well, special school to me because I've been here for quite some time. But I'm super excited to chat with you all today about an important topic, specifically building future leaders through the lens of the Warrington Online MBA and our approach. And, I know that many of you who have watched our Poets and Quants events before, you may know who I am. I'm Dr. Naz Erenguc. I'm the Director of Admissions. Usually I'm in the hot seat, but today I get to be the one interviewing. And so it's a little bit of a difference of how we've structured these historically, but I'm super excited to be able to welcome the newest member of the Warrington team, our Assistant Dean and Program Director, Adam Herman. So Adam, thanks for being here with me today. I guess you didn't really have a choice.
Thank you, Dr. Naz. It's great to be here, and I have so enjoyed working with you and having you welcome me to Warrington since December 1st when I joined.
Awesome. So why don't you kind of take a little bit of a dive into kind of the overview of the Warrington Online MBA program, but more specifically, I think since you're new to this role, it might be helpful to kind of give people context of how much of an actual subject matter expert you are in the online MBA space.
Of course, I'm Adam Herman. I've spent 15 of the last 17 years working with talented students at top business schools in undergraduate programs and MBA programs, as well as other graduate programs. I have taught courses both in the graduate space in global immersions, as well as to undergraduates in strategic management. And so I get to see a lot of the magic that empowers business school graduates who go out and do great things.
Awesome. Now, for those watching, they may not be familiar with kind of the MBA, online MBA format. So, if you wouldn't mind, just take a quick moment just to talk about the online MBA program just at large.
Absolutely. So here at the Warrington College of Business at the University of Florida, I get to work with our admissions, student experience, and academic advising professionals delivering one University of Florida MBA. So regardless of which format you're in, we have an on-campus program here in Gainesville that's a full-time program. We have an executive MBA. We have MBAs that are delivered in Jacksonville, Florida, and Miami. And our largest program is our online MBA that's delivered to MBA seekers all over the world. And it's a highly impactful online MBA. We have one team of staff here in Gainesville sitting on this hallway. Dr. Naz is across the hall from me, and our advising team is down the hall who would work with you. And we have one MBA program, and our online MBA is the platform that is designed for mid-career professionals, often with 5 to 10 years of experience in their careers, sometimes a bit more, who want to accelerate their path into senior leadership roles in their organizations without necessarily changing locations or spend time in lots of locations because they're traveling for work. So it's an MBA that is tailored to fit your life.
Awesome. Thank you. And, I definitely love that because, so often people ask, do I have to come to Gainesville, Florida? Although we're in Gainesville, maybe you want to come hang out with us. But this ultimately gives you the utmost flexibility to pursue your degree. So, thinking about the strategic vision behind Warrington's online MBA, can you talk about how it's evolved in recent years?
Absolutely. I love this question in part because I'm a bit of a strategy nerd. I used to teach strategy. And so the strategic vision for the Warrington Online MBA is to offer a learner-centered, technology-enabled MBA that allows our students to complete their studies in a top graduate program, fitting into the context of their often super busy lives and from anywhere in the world. And what's nice about it is that that's been our focus with the online MBA for more than 25 years here at Warrington. A second strategic intention is that we want to deliver this degree with the very best Warrington resources that students across our MBA formats get to experience, and then specifically tailored for learners in the online environment. So that includes pulling in professors who are particularly great at teaching online, but who are part of the One Warrington faculty, having the dedicated MBA program staff, technology professionals and course designers to make the material particularly accessible, and career coaches who work with our MBA students across all of the programs, including our online students, so that our online MBA, once you join it, you're part of the whole Warrington family.
That's amazing. So, when we talk about value creation, can you maybe add a little bit of the, the Herm-isms to this notion of value creation?
Absolutely. An MBA program is perhaps one of the best value creation and value capture vehicles that I can imagine. And students and our online learners, MBA learners, are going through regular cycles of value capture and value creation. The most notable one, perhaps, is that you can engage with course material on a Monday or a Sunday night before you're getting ready for the week, attend a office hours session or live engagement with your faculty member on Monday, and by Friday have implemented something that you learned in your online class right away that week at work, and show off that new skill to your boss or help make your teammates' lives easier. And so that's certainly one of the ways. We also know that students are investing a lot into their engagement in the program. In economics terms, we also know that the switching costs are high. When someone picks the Warrington MBA, they're bright students who are actively choosing us and not choosing to go somewhere else. And so our commitment to students involves offering a menu, sometimes we say a buffet, of credit-based options and courses. So those are courses that count towards your degree, may have an in-person component in the US or abroad. We have co-curricular opportunities, including career-focused meetups throughout the United States. We call them summits. If you follow Dr. Naz on LinkedIn, you can see her at a corporate headquarters recently with students. And we do those in a number of cities. And we also have skill-based residencies. So you can come to campus here in Gainesville, focus on design thinking for a weekend, go to sessions with faculty in the morning, and then in the evening, go out to a networking event with your peers before cheering on Gator basketball or Gator gymnastics as a group. And so there are lots of options in this buffet for all of our learners, including online learners. We know that not everyone can or wants to take part in all of these, but they're all open to you.
Yeah, and in fact, we're super excited to welcome a group of our online MBA students to our campus residency this upcoming weekend. So it's always fun to see students coming from all over the country to the swamp to experience that Gator community that you were just referencing. So Adam, when you think about the Warrington Online MBA program, what do you think differentiates our program from other top online MBA programs in terms of curriculum or the student experience? I know you kind of already talked a little bit about that student experience, but please, enlighten us more.
Absolutely. Thank you, Naz. First, I think it's important that students want to be at the University of Florida. All of our online MBA students, just like all MBA students, participate in an orientation program. For the online MBA, it's a live on-campus orientation followed by or integrated with a team success and leadership strategies program with the team of peers that you'll be working with throughout your MBA. And so that's a really great opportunity to come to campus, to get to know the Gator family, to meet our team and your colleagues in person, but also to be set up for success. And so wanting to have those high-touch interpersonal interactions is something that our students are seeking, and that's part of their success. All MBA students are invited to our graduation celebration that we've got coming up in just a couple weeks. Our curriculum, we say, provides both flexibility and a huge menu of choose-your-own-adventure opportunities. The flexibility comes from our coursework that is primarily asynchronous in nature. You log into our digital learning platform at a time that's convenient for you, whether it's when you get home, while you're on your commute, or while you're on vacation, doing something with your family. And you work with your team to participate in team assignments. There are also lots of synchronous opportunities to strengthen your experience as you are able to join them, from office hours and live engagement sessions with faculty to global study immersions that we have coming up, Naz and I are headed to Milan with a group of students. And on-campus residencies, I mentioned the design thinking. We also have opportunities to you to engage, connect with your faculty outside of class. Some of our faculty hold live sessions, and we also periodically, once a semester, offer big group speaker events. So a CEO of a company that you're able to log on and connect with that CEO or another alum of the Warrington College of Business. So you might find yourself on campus at a skills-focused residency weekend, traveling to, I mentioned that we're going to Milan. Some other destinations recently have included Chile and Peru and Tokyo in Japan that you'd travel to with fellow students. There will be a mix of students from our on-campus and online programs on these global immersions. And so you might be attending, for example, in the US, a summit alongside a student from our Jacksonville cohort, or a global immersion with full-time MBA students, such as the one that just got back over spring break from Croatia.
That's amazing. So, when you think about, and I know you kind of touched on this a little bit about kind of all the ways that our students can engage, but putting your faculty hat on, when you're thinking about the curriculum, can you kind of shed light on how we maintain relevance with a rapidly changing business environment, specifically trends in AI, digital transformation, and global markets, especially since that's a hot topic today?
It is a hot topic today, and it was a hot topic in my office yesterday. Our senior director of student experience and our faculty academic director of the MBA programs and I had a conversation that was really highly focused on skills that are in demand. In that conversation, we really focused on AI and digital transformation, as well as strategic problem solving skills. And so our curriculum is dynamic and intentional, and we live that. We get together and actively think about who are the best folks in the school that we can tap to deliver content to our students and how it's best delivered, whether as part of an online course, a residency experience, or another format that may resonate. Faculty within the Warrington College of Business are keenly focused on ensuring students are market ready and able to make an impact in their current and future organizations, giving a little bit of a callback to value capture and value creation. This is a long-term investment, and we hope that you continue to generate value from it for decades. Content on AI, digital transformation, and global markets are embedded across the MBA curriculum. We also offer campus-based immersions and global electives that focus on one or more of these topics. We recently had a marketing and artificial intelligence course that had a consulting component, and we're also rolling out new courses specifically focused on AI and machine learning, the regulatory, ethical, and legal considerations of these tools, and how to apply them in specific disciplines. I mentioned the marketing and AI course that Professor Mike Carrillo taught. It was focused on the application of artificial intelligence within marketing, and students got a hands-on experience building a multi-agentic artificial intelligence workflow for a client-serving deliverable. If you think about it, that's not a sentence that I would have uttered 5 years ago, and it's not something students would have known they were looking for 5 years ago. And so we also try to think with an eye towards not just what's hot right now, but where the puck is headed, as folks sometimes say. We also continue to receive great urgent feedback from students on the need to strengthen strategic problem solving and consulting skills. That whether they want to go into the consulting industry or into an internal strategy role or move up the ladder into the C-suite, that being able to solve problems and solve bigger problems is important to them. And so we are piloting new courses. We'll be rolling out additional consulting focused content courses. And as an example, this summer, 2026, we have a global immersion with Professor Brian Miller that has an elongated consulting emphasis in Lima, Peru. So that's pretty exciting.
I mean, I'm a little sad that we're not going to Lima as well with Dr. Miller, but I know that our students are going to have a fantastic time there. And also, what I want to add here, Adam, is that kind of when we talked about, well, when we were early in on the AI conversation, in fact, the leadership team of the Warrington College of Business and our dean Sabi Mitra was very adamant about Each and every course offered here at Warrington at any level, whether they be an online full-time executive or one of our undergrad or specialized master's classes, that every course here at Warrington have some topic of AI integrated into the conversation, because we know that this is something that is going to continue to evolve. And so, I think that although we've been strategic on the MBA side of the house of delivering kind of more of this, just-in-time delivery of AI tools and knowledge, it's imperative to also recognize that this has been a college-wide initiative that we've been embarked on for a number of years at this point. So, kind of taking a little bit of a shift here. So when you're thinking about the online MBA student, what are some common challenges they face, and how does the program address such challenges?
That's a great question, and we're all human. Some of those challenges are the very same challenges that you and I faced as working professionals pursuing graduate degrees at the same time. And the biggest one, Naz, is that students only have 168 hours in a week. We all spend at least 40 or more of those at work. If we get 8 hours per night, we're spending 50 or more of those hours asleep. And so you've got 78 hours. That's less than half of your 168 hours left over for everything else you need to get done, including lunch, dinner, commuting, caretaking, your personal life, business travel. I didn't mention breakfast. I don't know how many folks dedicate time to breakfast, but it's a lot, and we get that. And so there are folks, certainly like I was when I went through graduate school, who spend a lot of time on weekends working on things. There are folks like you who come into the office early or work early in the morning from a comfortable space to get their work done so they still have a weekend. And so that's one of the biggest things that students need to address on their own, is the time shift and letting their friends, family, significant other, plants, pets, know that they're going to have some different things keeping them busy, and that it's an investment for the family, for friends, for significant others, for everyone who matters to them. A primary way that the program really helps with this limited bandwidth is that our successful, talented working professionals have access to course content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at your own pace. We get it. As I said, though, everyone's human. And so you also have a dedicated academic advisor at Warrington. Our MBA advisors sit just down the hall from Naz and me. And they're your academic and personal success champion in the MBA program. You also have a team of peers who primarily work on coursework together and are one of the greatest sources of strength for any student in our program. It's part of why we invest in that team success session at orientation. Let's face it, though, sometimes life just happens. And that means reaching out to your professor to discuss an extension on an assignment or how you can strategize to catch up. Other times, it means working with our team because you've welcomed a new family member, ended up with a major project at work that's going to eat your whole schedule for a number of weeks, and you just need to hit that pause button, or experiencing a loss or other personal situation where you need to take some time away. We'll work with you to arrive at the right outcome and help you navigate forward in the program.
So, that's a great kind of, when you talk about all those numbers in a week, and how many hours that we're committing to other things, I like to point out that the average weekly time commitment that we tell our online MBA students to plan on allocating towards this program, it's like a part-time job. It's going to be about 15 to 20 hours a week. Of course, if you have a love for accounting or statistics, that number of hours may differ, or maybe if you have a little bit of a struggle with those concepts or any concept, you might have to take a little bit more time. But we say an average weekly time commitment is 15 to 20 hours a week. So, being intentional about having to carve that time out. And to your point, Adam, it's ensuring that our students know early on that this will be a time commitment, and they're going to have to carve that time out somewhere, somehow, even if that means a little less breakfast, lunch, dinner, or plant time. One of the things that I'm going to plug in, and I get the benefit of doing so because I get to wear Poets and Quants interviewer, and I also get to work here at Warrington. But we're super proud of the fact that we have a graduation and retention rate of over 90% with our online population. And, I think that's largely based on a great equation of admitting the right students, the individuals that want to make that investment in themselves. It also, incorporates our fantastic support team, whether it's our academic advisors or your immediate team members that you'll interact with on a regular basis when you're in the classroom. And then the added of that is the faculty, right? The faculty, they recognize that all of our students are working full-time and doing this MBA on a part-time basis. So it's a perfect equation to ensure a successful earned MBA degree, even if it takes you more than 2 years or 1 year to obtain. So switching gears here again, what's one misconception about online MBAs that you'd like to dispel, Adam?
I love this question. I was in Chicago on vacation about 10 years ago, which is not that long ago, in the
I hope
mid
that's not the last time
2010s.
you were on vacation.
That was not the last time I was on vacation, but it was a good vacation. And in the middle of it, it started raining, and a friend of mine and I needed to get to a restaurant from somewhere that we were shopping. And I said, well, we could go over to that hotel that's about 2 blocks away and get in line for a taxi. And my friend pulled out their phone and pulled up an app called Uber. And I said, what is that? And she said, well, this is an app that will come give you a ride. And I said, that doesn't seem real. We need to go get a taxi. And if you think about where we are today, whether it's with Uber or Lyft or other ride sharing apps, rarely anyone would say that today. And so I think there's a real dichotomy between an online MBA, or that there's this false dichotomy that's been created sometimes between an online MBA and what people have designed as sort of the so-called real MBA. The learning in our online MBA is absolutely real. It starts at orientation, as I mentioned. The effort and investment our online learners put in is real, and the multitasking and the juggling are real. And also your employer's respect for your ability to multitask and future employers' appreciation for what you were able to accomplish with that limited bandwidth says a lot about you, that you were able to succeed despite having a 40, 50-hour full-time gig. Also, according to some reports, more than half of MBA seekers in the United States over the last 5 years, there's been a shift towards a significant number of them pursuing online MBA programs, making the online MBA the right option for a number of high-achieving learners, making it entirely typical, making it just like I feel about ride-sharing apps today that I didn't 10 years ago. And so that's definitely been a shift. We're also proud here at Warrington that our online MBA learners participate in experiential learning, in campus engagement, in global immersion, and career coaching opportunities right alongside all Warrington MBA students.
Yeah, so regardless of the format that you choose, even as an online MBA student, your transcripts, your diploma, your faculty, everything's going to be the same. So there's nothing that differentiates which program format you chose. So you get to walk away from, the same fantastic Warrington degree that Adam was alluding to, with all of the fantastic opportunities of professional development and experiential learning that we have to offer. So thinking about this notion of, kind of the workforce and building our future leaders, because that's the topic of today's session, is how is Warrington building relationships with employers to ensure the program aligns with workforce needs?
Absolutely. As I was walking up here to my office to come participate in this webinar, I noticed that we have about 20 employers downstairs here to connect with Warrington students. And so we are typically immersed in conversing with the employment ecosystem and with folks who are creating a great workforce and recruiting top talent. This weekend, our Dean's Business Advisory Council will be here at the Warrington College, and those are alumni and other successful business leaders who we regularly tap for their insights on what graduates need to know. But it is part of our DNA that we want to ensure that candidates can be successful in your organizations, in your communities, and in your industry. Those are all important to us. We have an employer relations team in our career services office, as well as a corporate relations team here at the college, Both of those teams are engaged with employers and companies as a core part of their role. But we also have a ton of subject matter experts here. Our faculty, who are not only nationally and globally recognized for their research, are also incredibly connected with industry, whether it's at the Real Estate Trends and Strategies Conference we hosted in Orlando with top real estate industry executives, or just last week, the university's Artificial Intelligence Summit. It brought together technology leaders, UF faculty, including some from the Warrington College, and cutting-edge researchers and faculty from around the globe. Just yesterday, I mentioned that Naz and I are going to Milan with students, and a faculty member let me know they had done some strategy consulting with a firm in Milan and could make connections. And so there are a lot of connections, both the typical ones and the surprising fun ones that we have here to connect students with opportunities and to get industry knowledge. And finally, members of the Gator Nation care about the next generation. We regularly include successful alumni who are business leaders in our MBA programming. We have a dedicated staff position on our team for MBA alumni involvement. That is working broadly across the team to create opportunities for alumni to get in front of students and for students to network with our alumni. And MBA alumni are generous about stopping by when they're in Gainesville, just to share advice and perspective on workforce needs, their industries, how we're educating future UF MBA alumni. They'll often either stop by our office in Huff Hall, or they'll invite Naz or me or another staff member to lunch at the Swamp Restaurant, and we're always happy to buy the lunch. So certainly we love having business gators visit us here in Gainesville.
Perfect. Thank you. And actually, in fact, Adam, I know that we talk about us traveling to Milan, but you and I also get to travel up to Jacksonville tomorrow to highlight with a collaborative environment with our finance program, some of the companies and our alums in an area. So talking about how we're able to continue to cultivate relationships with, our corporate partners and getting our students in front of them. And I'll actually also add to that all of our online MBA students have a dedicated career coach. So when you're thinking about, how we're preparing our MBA leaders to re-enter or to pivot their careers within the workforce, recognizing that you'll have your own dedicated career coach to help you with your career strategy. So that's one part of it. But also another great aspect that I'd like to kind of add a few cents in with is we also have a professional development team that is purely focused on creating opportunities for our students to get outside of the classroom skills to help ensure that their resumes go to the top of those corporate partners, view books. Because what we want to do is ensure that the MBA of today has an opportunity to participate in Lean Six Sigma or get Scrum Master certified or basic Excel training, whatever it may be. We are constantly looking for ways to work with our career coaches and our corporate partners to ensure that our MBA students, specifically even our online MBA students, are prepared for whatever the needs of a leader of today are required. So, sorry to add that, Adam, but I'm going to quickly pivot to our last question of today. So are you ready for it?
I'm ready, although I have a question.
Okay.
I know you're excited about your playlist for our drive to Jacksonville tomorrow. What do you think about in-car karaoke?
I think an MBA karaoke would be a lot of fun, although there's a big chance that you might push me out of the car in that case, because it might not be very fun for you.
Well, I don't know how my singing voice is. We better get back to some of your questions.
All right. Okay. Well, the last question is the online MBA space is increasingly competitive. So, Adam, how do you ensure the Warrington degree stands out nationally and globally?
In some ways, Naz, that's a continual challenge that we think about. We think strategically, we think about our network. And in some ways, it's really simple and straightforward. We stand out by graduating University of Florida MBA holders who make a significant impact in their organizations and communities. Our students and alumni are the human manifestation of the UF Warrington College brand. And so we get to focus on delivering an experience that is for ambitious professionals who want to pursue an MBA that offers flexibility, within their limited bandwidth, and a professional who also wants to have access to a whole array of enhanced experiences on campus in Gainesville, in the US, and around the globe. Our electricity conservation efforts have also turned my lights off, and so now you know that we wave once in a while at the light sensor. We also ask, I think, on that point about differentiation and keeping the program competitive in an increasingly competition-filled space. We are strategic and intentional about asking top faculty to deliver in the online MBA curriculum. These are faculty who are particularly adept at working with our dedicated learning technology team to help their course content be delivered well in an online environment. Remember, our content is not only online, but it's asynchronous and accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so our capable learning technologists work really hard with our faculty to make sure it's in a format that you can watch and consume and engage with from anywhere, but that also is highly educational and very content rich. We also want faculty who think innovatively about how and when to connect with our online learners through office hours, live value added sessions. That was a lot of words. Let me put in parentheses. We have an accounting faculty member who, in addition to office hours where you go and ask questions, you also log in for a live session separate from the asynchronous coursework. It's optional, but it's also recorded. So if you miss it, you can watch it later. And you actually work on, in breakout rooms, accounting problem sets or questions with your peers. And then you head back into the main room on Zoom and connect with your professor around how you answered the question, other questions you have, how you can apply it at work the next day. And so that's a great value added opportunity. We also have our domestic experiential courses, whether they go to San Francisco or Texas, and global immersions. So we have faculty who are part of all of those experiences. They want to build real relationships with our students and see them succeed throughout their careers. And it's very often the case, typical, that faculty also keep in touch with students well after graduation.
That is amazing. Thank you, Adam, and thank you for answering all of my questions today. I'm super excited to be able to highlight the Warrington Online MBA program. Specifically with this Poets and Quants online event, you'll have an opportunity to learn more about all of the other great schools that are participating in this event. You'll also get to hear from some of our current students and alums of various programs. But we appreciate your time today, and we look forward to having a continued conversation about why Warrington, and we encourage you to reach out if you have any follow-up questions. Thank you and have a wonderful day, and go Gators.